Don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry what I did to content.
You are listening to
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry I killed that girl.
What's up to everybody?
Hey.
All right, so welcome to the Grim Fix podcast. I'm so excited to be here. I love the feedback we've gotten so far. I love and I appreciate everybody who watched our YouTube channel, that listened to the episode and showed love. So
Yes.
Subscribe.
So should we call it? We're still in the works, just in case. So we're trying to work on our intros. We're trying to work on some graphics for the channel. We already own the grimfixpodcast.com.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So little by little, it's falling into place. If anybody who's listening to us, if you are a graphic designer and want to do something, please shoot us a DM on Instagram, Grimfix Podcast. Yeah. Here we are.
Today we went through the paranormal stuff.
So today, we're trying to do. So we want to do. We're all into the true crime, and we have a bunch of like really good episodes up ahead. But we also want to mix in the whole, paranormal and stuff like that, and so we found some information. Being that, so for those of you who live in America, you might not. Well, yeah, maybe they do. I think everywhere around the world, they got their urban legends. They got their, what is it? Folklore. That's what they call it.
Folklore, urban legends.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's heard about ghost stories, stuff like that. So when you grow up in a place like PR, so for those of you that don't know, JR and Charles are currently right now in Puerto Rico.
Sadly to say.
If you hear,
sadly to say,
if you hear weird noises, this is not special effects. That's nature over there. So yeah.
Excuse for the dog in the first episode.
So so we all grow up with these stories. We grow up with like these like scary stories. Anybody have a story they want to share that they grew up with, something they were afraid of?
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. Surrounded by brave men.
No. Well, you, as I, no, we're not brave men with these kind of stories.
Listen, I was the biggest brick shitter, if you want to call it that. I was such a scaredy cat. Like listen, let me give you a little bit of context. I grew up watching horror movies since I was a kid.
Yep.
Like my brother loved it, my parents loved it. It's what we watched. And I, as a kid, I was like, yeah. But then nighttime came. When nighttime came, that's where all that bravery went out the window. I was super scared of the dark. I always thought like the worst things ever. I remember in PR, when we first moved to Puerto Rico, we lived in countryside, right? It's country. It was an old house. Apparently, the person who owned the house was what do you want to call it? A warlock, somebody who's into witchcraft.
That's
I mean, a man witch.
Man witch.
Man witch.
So supposedly, right, there were things that people saw. I remember my mom telling me a few times that she had moments where she would end up yelling at one of what she thought was one of us to go to bed. We were already in bed, and she would see kids in the house, right?
It's
So
crazy.
one of the stories that we were told is that years ago, that house, I think it was like a center for deaf and mute kids, something like that. That's what
I was told. It was a family, and they were all like, they had special needs.
that's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I
Like,
was told.
that's how stories, I mean, go. I do
It
know
happens.
the owner was into the whole witchcraft stuff. That I do know because I knew him
Exactly.
personally. So we all grow up with stories like that. You got stories like when you go to the beach in my hometown of Isabela, there's a beach, very famous beach now, it's Hobos Beach. Gets tons of tourists every year. Why did this stop? Okay. So yeah, it gets tons of tourists, but apparently there's a story tied to that beach because there's a sector called El Pozo de Jacinto, which is what? Jacinto's well, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think as well.
So apparently this was a man. He was a country person. He had, I think, a cow that he would walk through the
Various.
pastures. Huh?
He had various, but I guess there was one in particular that he would tie to himself.
I know that supposedly the cow fell through the hole and it was tied
It was-
to like his ankle or some shit.
Yeah, the story is that there was he took it out during a thunderstorm, I think it was, or it was just raining, and out of the blue, this thunder strike, I guess that's what you call it, or a lightning strike, hit, scared the cow. The cow just blasted running and fell in the well, dragging him with it.
Okay.
That's how I know.
So yeah, the thing is that now supposedly you go to this beach and if you yell at that part, right? Because it's a beach. I guess there's like a hole in the water surrounded by rocks.
You yell at the hole.
And if you yell at the hole and you say like Jacinto tráeme la vaca, right? Which is Jacinto, that was his name. Bring me the cow. I mean, it sounds stupid, but that's what we grew up with. Then the water gets like the waves start crashing and the water gets all blah blah blah.
So it reacts to it.
Supposedly, yes. That's the story. I know there's stories like in your town, JR, right? What is it? A gargoyle that they said that they used to see?
Gargoyles?
Yeah, I mean, there's a story. I had it queued up. I don't know if I have it here, but it was supposedly there was a gargoyle that that people saw. That people kept claiming that they saw this being with red eyes that would fly. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Mothman.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm assuming it's something like that. Like
yeah, everybody has red eyes.
He has like red eyes.
Chupacabras.
Yeah. So I mean, I was watching this on Netflix.
Excuse me.
It's called I sent it to you guys. I don't know if it's called Unsolved.
Yeah.
So it's like different episodes of different things, and there's this specific episode where they're talking about like cryptic creatures, and they talk about like Mothman and how, which I didn't know this, the movie Mothman Prophecies. You guys ever seen it?
Yes, I had.
Yes.
A while back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly that movie is based on a true story. I think it was in Maryland. I think it was that they saw it, and there was a bridge that collapsed, and people claim that days before they saw this quote unquote Mothman figure. So they started tying like the coincidences between every time somebody saw this Mothman, something terrible would happen. So the question that they ask is the Mothman the cause of this? Or was the Mothman trying to warn them?
people?
Yeah. So that's hence the name Mothman Prophecies. So, yeah, I mean, I want to do more digging because I would really like us to do an episode on that, like that Mothman, Goatman.
That was interesting.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Like on Netflix, they have that, and they talk about like Mothman. They talk about Goatman. They talk about. I mean, I have the names here because I wrote them down. I was like, yo, I've never heard of any of this. So there's something called the skunk ape.
What?
Okay, really?
Dogman, which sounds silly, but yeah, I guess it's sort of like
Dogman.
a werewolf. They talk about thunderbirds, which we think of cars, but it's also like the Native Americans when they usually do those totem poles. There's like a bird always there. It looks like, I mean, I always, yeah, like on top or on the bottom. They always fit up. Well, I always thought it was an eagle, but those are thunderbirds. And there's actually a video clip of somebody who was on a boat, and all of a sudden, from the trees afar, he sees these huge birds, and there's two of them, and all of a sudden they just take flight. But these are like giant ass birds. There's videos of that. You guys can look for it, I guess, on YouTube. I'm assuming they have it.
What's the show called again? I need to watch this.
So The Unsolved, I think it is. There's a few episodes, different stuff, but that one specifically is about like cryptic creatures. So they talk about the Van Meter visitor. I don't know what that is. They talk about Goatman. They talk about the Mongolian death worm, which that's what inspired the movie Tremors.
Oh, wow.
And then the Wendigo, which is, I think, is like a shapeshifter.
That one sounds like the Skinwalker.
I'm telling you, it was really, really interesting. Like, so I took down the names. I was like, okay, so now we can do research individually into these creatures. Speaking of shapeshifters, did you guys see that Supernatural, they're doing a spinoff, the Winchesters?
Really?
No.
Yeah. I saw that yesterday. I mean, I haven't seen it. I just saw the promo. It's called the Winchesters.
I haven't watched it.
I hope it's as good as the show itself.
Yeah, Supernatural was such a great show. It's just
it started getting crappy. Like
I think I stopped watching. Yeah, I know David finished the whole thing. Like he went through it. He finished. I stopped watching. I think, too much. Yeah, I think I got up to like season 10, I want to say. And then they started getting into this whole, like, it was like the same story over and over with angels and heaven, and it was enough for me.
Yeah, that's where it started.
So this is like a prequel to the show?
What?
So this is like a prequel to the show?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's a prequel because they just show young... Did I take a picture?
Dean and Sam?
No, they actually show it's a guy and a girl. So I don't know. I didn't dig into it. I just saw it, and I meant to send it to you guys. What?
It's not Jeffrey Morgan who's in it. Jeffrey, I think that's his name.
I don't know. I just saw like a quick promo yesterday.
The one who plays who plays the father.
That's what I thought. I thought maybe it's a story of like the father or some shit.
Yes.
Let me see. What is it? The Winchesters. Yeah, it's a drama series. Winchesters. Okay. Okay, you're gonna tell me what it's about? Okay, it's an upcoming American dark fantasy drama television series developed by Robbie Thompson, Jensen Ackles, and Daniil Ackles. It is a spin-off prequel of Supernatural, from which Ackles reprises his role as the series narrator. The series is scheduled to premiere October 11, 2022.
Okay,
nice.
Cool.
So yeah, Jensen Ackles. Who is it? Dean, right? Yeah, it's Dean Winchester.
Yes.
Yeah, Dean Winchester. But in The Boys, he's what is it? Oh my God, what's his name in The Boys? You guys don't watch The Boys?
No.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I have.
Oh my God.
What is that show anyway?
The Boys?
Okay, The Boys. I understood The Boys. I'm like, whoa.
The Boys.
The first
that's
episode.
the shit.
No.
I saw the first episode and it kind of just, I don't know.
What? No. So he comes out in that show in season 2, I think it is. I think they're on season 3 now. No, season 3. They're on season
superheroes. 2. I don't know. It just kind of didn't do it for me. Like that first episode was supposed to pump me up, and it was just like I was literally falling asleep.
What?
Yes.
No. What? Nah.
Yeah, it was stupid. Look, remember when that guy just ran and took the girl right out of took the girl, like, just dragged her and blew her up for some reason. He just bumped into her, supposedly.
Yeah, but that's what makes it real. I mean, think about it.
How are you gonna stay with her hands? How are you gonna stay with her hands?
Okay, but think about it. If the Flash, right?
True.
And the Flash is running at that speed that he runs, and all of a sudden, by mistake, he bumps into somebody. What do you think is gonna happen?
Okay, I guess they're gonna burst. They're gonna blow up.
Well, that's what
I
I'm
understand
saying.
that, but come on. Why are you gonna stand?
I don't know if you guys who are listening have seen The Boys. It's on Amazon Prime. This show, to me, and I'm not big on superhero movies and shows, but this show shows me what life would really be like if superheroes were real. Like the greed, the whole that they want to be famous, how some of them, they get corrupted. Yo, there's a superhero.
That sounds great.
I need to catch up.
And then anyway, well, Jensen Ackles or Ackles, whatever his name is, he does the character Soldier Boy, and it's a stupid name, yeah, but he's like the shit, like he's indestructible. And man, this show is crazy. Like the fact that you have a superhero that was in the times of Hitler and was a Nazi and is a superhero, mega racist. Like I'm telling you, man, like if superheroes were real, that's exactly how it would be.
I'm gonna have to sit down and watch it. But I have to watch it like at a certain time. Because if I start watching it like at night, I'll just doze off.
Nah, I'm telling you, I'm not big on superhero movies and shows. That show is the shit.
I need to check it out.
Yep. All right, so anyway, so speaking of, right, we were talking about the whole ghost stories and spirits and whatnot. So we started doing some digging, right? And we found some, I guess, spirits. I mean, I wanted to read this part first before we go into the nitty-gritty of it, just to give people an understanding of what we're talking about. This is a website called thingsguyana.com. And what we'll be talking about today is evil spirits from the Caribbean, right? I tried looking, when I talk about Caribbean, right? We are from the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico, Caribbean. But I didn't find anything. I mean, I'm sure there must be tons of stories. I haven't found them yet. Just a few like stories that we already know. So we decided to keep searching, and we stumbled onto the name of Jumbees, right?
Jumbees.
Some people spell it Jumbees. Some people spell it Jumbies. And I'm assuming some people might spell it Jumbys, right? So, reading off this article here, this is going to give you, right, an insight to what is that we're talking about. I found it super interesting, right? So it says that different cultures have different concepts of Jumbee. But the general idea is that people that have been evil are destined to become instruments of evil, quote unquote, Jumbee in death, right? So apparently it's people that are evil. When they die, their soul, if you want to look at it that way, becomes this entity, this spirit, right? So it says that Jumbees are said to possess people during ceremonies called Jumbee dances, which are accompanied by Jumbee drums. It is believed that the spirit separates from the body 3 days after death, at which point the havoc begins. Jumbees are believed to have the ability to shapeshift, usually taking the form of a dog, a pig, or more likely a cat. I mean, I found that really interesting. I know I've heard from my part of the island, I've heard of people that say, right, oh, I knew this person could shapeshift. Oh, this person was a witch. what is it that you would find? I think that if you would, the belief, right? I'm not saying this is what I believe. These are the stories I've been told. That I think if you go outside and I think if you see something like poop, but it's like orange poop in the grass, that means that a witch was there. I know.
What?
Well, that means somebody ate a lot of pumpkins.
These are the stories that I've been told. Like that, if you go out,
this is the first time that I've ever heard that.
Yeah,
if you get orange poop,
orange poop,
orange poop.
So supposedly, is that there was a witch there, right? I know I've heard
candy
people
corn
here, people in the South that they talk about. So when you wake up, right? I know that in the South, there's a belief, like, so you know when you sometimes, I mean, if it's happened to you, that you wake up and you feel like you can't move, you have like that paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
They say that in the spirit world, there's a witch or a hag is riding you. She's on top of you, holding you down, right?
Holding you down.
Okay, so Jumbees in Guyana take many forms. We have various names for them as well as, for example, right? They have one called the Baku, the Moongazer, and the Ole Higue. Here they only mention 3, but we have more than that, right? It talks about the Dutchman Jumbee, which are second only to the Ole Higue in depth of belief in them and how common they are found in present day in Guyana lore. Dutchman is considered the most frightening of them all and take the blame of most of the evil. And take blame for the most evil of acts that explanations defy. Dutchman is considered the most frightening of them all. Many trees in Guyana are called Dutchman trees. Yes. If one climbs these trees or cuts at it or anything violently.
I had that.
Okay.
They wrote it horribly.
Okay, so wait. If one climbs these trees or cuts it or anything else like that, the Dutchman Jumbee will cause them to fall and break their neck or spine, or they get violently ill or encounter all sorts of bad karma. Each village has its own tale. In an area of the West Demerara, the story goes that a Dutchman and his dog torment and were generally cruel to their slaves and would hang them for no real reason or as a warning to others. Any who climbed the tree, dug at its roots, or tried to mark the tree were commonly found dead within days at the most.
That reminds me of SpongeBob.
Of SpongeBob? Or the Flying Dutchman?
I am the Flying Dutchman.
What is it?
Who's in the pineapple?
The Flying Dutchman.
I also read that they would kill slaves and bury them with their treasure to guard their possessions, and their punishment was that they were brought back to haunt the landscape when they were dead because of what they did.
You see, like, I mean, it makes you think. I always say, you have to believe, right, to a certain point. I mean, if you believe in good, you have to believe in evil, right?
True.
I feel like, I don't know, like I do believe these stories to a certain point. There's just some things that it's like
these stories that they go a little bit too far.
Yeah, I mean, it's like originally what we were saying is like when we go down the list of different Jumbies that we found, I mean, you could literally make, I think, a horror movie out of all of them. Well, each one would be a character for a movie.
The one that when I really caught interest was on Baku. That one, I was just bugging out with it because I'm going to read to you. Look, the Baku is from Guyana. It's a cheeky little creature and it's small dwarf-like entity that resembles a leprechaun, right? Mm-hmm. That's about what, 3 feet high?
Probably, yeah, give or take.
Okay. Bakus are like, well, in my opinion, Bakus are like kids and they're terrible tools in which they create havoc wherever they go. They are known for moving shit around, pelting houses with rocks, and they piss or annoy anyone they choose. You know, it's like that little cartoon clip they use with Stewie saying, "Mom, mom, mommy."
Mom.
Exactly.
Lewis! Mom! 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 Mommy! 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 Mama! Mama!
What?
Hi.
Hi. Bakus hate daylight. They rather do their shit at night or in the dark. These creatures can shapeshift or turn invisible. Doesn't anyone, wouldn't mind having that? I wouldn't mind turning shape-shifting or turning invisible.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, it is believed that if you provide the Baku with milk and bananas, they will provide you with wealth, riches, and grant you any wish you want. Like I said, there's nothing scary about it. This guy in Guyana had a pet Baku on a shelf really high up, in which he had to use a ladder to reach it at night to feed it its yummy repeated tribute of milk and bananas. One day the owner had to bounce on a business trip and left his servant to feed the Baku, every night. Okay, the owner had explained to the servant to leave the bananas and milk at the top of the ladder and not look at it. The owner knew that the servant would not listen and look at it while it ate, and that Baku would frighten him. I guess the curiosity killed the cat and the servant. To the servant's surprise, when he sneaked a peek, he found himself with a big black snake. When he came face to face with that snake, it frightened him to the point where he fell back from the ladder and broke his neck. Why does everybody break their neck? The Dutchman breaks their neck. The Baku breaks their neck.
All right, that's like a big theme there. Like,
I'm telling you, it's
So basically, the Baku is a Caribbean leprechaun.
Well, yeah.
Sounds like a leprechaun, right?
yeah.
It sounds like one of these Puerto Rican midgets here. Because it's 3 feet. The chubby, cheeky, hello. It's one of these Caribbean guys that eat a lot.
Person.
You gotta show him the pic. The pic is a little monkey. It looks like a little monkey with fat cheeks.
I don't know. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, then go to YouTube. Yeah, I'm gonna put up images so you can see what we're looking at. So before we go even further, right? This article that I'm reading, it seems to be somebody who grew up in Guyana, obviously Guyana.
Yeah, most of these stories are from Guyana.
So what they're telling you is how their upbringing was, right? Being surrounded with all these beliefs, and their parents, and some people that grow up with this. I mean, that's all they know. And it's like religion. When people grow up with religion, everything surrounds religion, right? So he says here that growing up with Guyanese parents, he says that they would throw these tantrums beyond this universe. If you didn't take off your slippers and walk through the door backwards when coming home late at night, which we'll get into why that is.
That's one of the ways to avoid.
It says that Jumbie. Right. They would yell at him, saying stuff like, bringing Jumbie in the house was the most. It was the most common used term. It says that older folks would say to go to a shop, buy lime lemon, red lavender, and blue, and mix it together and bathe from head, right? From your head, rid yourself, from head to toe, I'm assuming, to rid yourself of all the evil. There was absolutely nothing intriguing about listening to Jumbie stories at night, especially the windy ones. Our favorite expression when Guyanese say goodbye at night is, don't let the Jumbie hold you. Jumbie is always on the minds of many Guyanese walking home at night. Walking past a cemetery can be especially frightening. The ghost of 3 times great-grandfather Clute de Niern Kirk was rumored, I probably butchered that, was rumored to have existed at Watuka and Nooit Gedach, Upper Demerara, over 100 years after his death. I'm just reading, man. It says that stories were told that at dusk, it says that at dusk, the clip-clap sounds of the hooves of the white horse, which old Kloop once owned, could be heard as Kloop made his way home from his plantation. The horse would snort and sometimes whinny as terrified relatives hurried indoors. Some even saw the Dutchman as he rode in the twilight of the evening. Some older relatives also felt the haunt of the many slaves that were buried there. Children were brought up on scary Jumbie stories. In Guyana, there's a famous silk cotton tree that is in the middle of the road of perseverance. Legend has is that this tree is a Jumbie tree or a Dutchman tree. The spirits in the tree are so powerful that the engineers who were building the road could not cut down the tree, and as such, the road was split in two to avoid the tree. That's what it says here. So apparently, I guess, yeah, that tree, I mean, they couldn't cut it down. They had to build around it.
Okay.
I've never heard of that though, like trees having like spirits or being haunted or whatnot. Like that's a new concept.
I've heard of trees having stuff like that, but not exactly about zombies and whatnot.
So I mean, besides what Game of Thrones, what is it, the three-eyed raven,
talking tree,
the tree, whatnot.
Hey, look at Pocahontas.
Pocahontas,
the willow tree, I think it is, right? The willow tree.
I've never watched Pocahontas. I remember the trees in Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, that
So yeah, so that is right, the introduction of what we're talking about, right? We also found this article on paranormalcatalog.net. It's called Jumbie, Demons of the Caribbean. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
To me, it's Caribbean. But I don't know. I use both either way.
Yep.
So
Caribbean.
I guess it depends on the sentence, you know.
It says the Caribbean is a beautiful place with beautiful people, but if you find yourself out after dark, watch out for Jumbies. Jumbies, sometimes spelled Jumbie, Jumbie, or Jumby, are demons or evil spirits originating in the Caribbean or the Caribbean. The name Jumbie is the generic name given to the whole cluster of malevolent entities. So I'm assuming that Jumbie is like saying a demon, right? It could be a demon or an evil spirit, but it has a name. Like it's a spirit or a demon, but it has a name. I'm guessing that's what Jumbie means. It's like saying demon or spirit. Okay.
But it says whole cluster, and a cluster means that's more than one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what. But then they break them down by name.
Oh, okay.
So, some believe to be spirits of the deceased, and some believe to be demons. A Jumbie is much more sinister than a run-off-the-mill ghost. Jumbies are believed to be spirits of terrible, evil people who were destined to become agents of destruction upon their deaths. The idea of Jumbies is influenced by the cultural melting pot that is the Caribbean. Caribbean is a melting pot. I mean, there's so many, right? And here they only mention, like, it says Jumbies have similarities to mythological creatures from African, Dutch, East Indian, English, and even Chinese cultures. But, I mean, when you talk about the Caribbean, you also have, like, Spanish culture. You have Taino culture. That's all in the Caribbean. Okay, so we have gathered a collection of different Jumbies to tell you about. But there are thousands more in different cultures around the Caribbean. So the first one we spoke about was the Bacoo. All right, so what you got for us now?
Well, over here I have the Ole Higue, I think it is pronounced.
Ole Higue.
Ole Higue. Oh, well, it means in English it would be Old Hag. It says the old folklore tale in Guyana of a Jumbie called Ole Higue. For us that speak English, it's Old Hag. It's an old soul or witch-like woman or man with vampire customs, though most of the story about the Ole Higue is based on a woman. They have vampire customs due to the fact that they suck the bloods of babies most of the time. The victims, or while the victims are sleeping. Though it doesn't matter, they will take any prey of a baby if a baby is not found. They tend to live on the edge of the village and come out during the day, but during the night they show their true form. During the night, they will shed their skin like it was some old dress and hang it on a tree or put it in a mortar. Their true form are flying as a flying ball of flame they use to their advantage because that's how they are able to get inside the houses of the victims. They enter through the keyhole. There's so many ways to get in the house, and they decide to get in through the keyhole.
Yeah, that part of them, a fireball, that's not impressive to me. Like that.
No, it's not.
That killed it for me.
It's ridiculous.
It's the keyhole.
It's the keyhole thing.
It's the keyhole thing.
No, but you gotta see it. Well, I'll read it further on how they kill it. Okay. That's where you're gonna be like bugging out.
That's gonna be the ending because basically it goes into how to kill them and avoid them, right? I think it's all in general how to avoid them.
Well, yeah, they have a list of how to avoid if you encounter how to avoid. I don't know, some survival kit.
So you guys can't complain. You see, at the Grim Fix podcast, we're not only telling you about it, we're gonna tell you how to save your life from it. All right? You're welcome.
Anywho, back to the story. It says most homes in Guyana have a manacle broom made from. You're gonna laugh at this. Most homes in Guyana have a manacle broom made from manacle palm hanging over their doorway, in which they use to beat the crap out of the Ole Higue when she enters the home and gets distracted by a variety of things in which are left for her, like a bowl of uncooked rice and bottles of various goodies.
Okay. So wait, I didn't. In their house, they have what? A broom?
They have It's like here in Puerto Rico, they make a broom out of over here they call it
straw broom.
Straw broom. Well, I'm guessing it's made out of the strands from the palm tree. I guess it's a certain palm tree.
Okay.
So they hang it. They literally hang it over the doorway and keep it there. You know, they come in through the keyhole. They got the broom right up there.
But you know, there's actually, I think it's Catholic people that do that too. You guys never noticed that?
I did notice. I'm
talking about old school people.
Well, yeah, like I said, I never associated it with this until now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can see like the similarities. Like I remember, I'm talking about years ago. I remember like older people, I'm talking about old people that I've spoken to, and you go to their house, and some of them most of them have been like Catholic people, and they do the little like palm tree strands tied up into like a little broom, and then they tie it up at top of the door, right? And yes. I remember asking, and the reasoning that they gave me. All right, so something people need to understand is in old culture, I don't know about other countries, I can talk about the culture I grew up around, right?
Exactly.
So when you grow up around these old customs and culture in Puerto Rico or the Caribbean, but Puerto Rico, there's a lot of people that grew up around what they call espiritismo, right? Which is what? Spiritualism, right? And some of them branch out into what they call Santeria. Some of them, because it's sort of like a religion for them as well. So they have espiritismo, they have Santeria. Then it goes back into like black magic, and it goes into brujeria, witchcraft. So it's like different branches, and different people believe differently, right? Depending where on the island or who you grew up around or what did you choose to believe. Now, most of these people, when you talk to them, and I've talked to many along the years, they all come from Catholic backgrounds. So you will see little customs of things that they do that when you really do your research, you'll be able to tie it back to the Bible. So something like this with the palm tree strands or whatever you want to call it, I asked. And the reasoning is they did it in honor of Christ. And Christ
Palm Sunday?
For Palm Sunday. Catholics celebrate Palm Sunday. They carry around with the thing, whatever. So these people that believe this, and they'll tell you, oh no, this is to, scare off the evil spirits or whatever. Not, so they tie this thing on their door. They put a nail and they tie it up there. So the more you know.
The more you know.
The battle.
Now you know. Is that it?
But I'm still waiting how you're going to defeat it.
Okay, no. There's like I had said, they put. You know why? Well, I believe they put uncooked rice. The uncooked, okay. I believe these Jumbees or Ole Higue, they suffer from OCD.
Yeah.
Why I say that? Because if they see a bowl of uncooked rice, they will have the urge and tendency. The urge or tendency to count the grains of rice, and that is the chance to beat them to death with a mere broom from the manacle palm. Or sometimes these hags turn into fire, they tend to go in through the keyhole. So the Guyanese believe that if they put a key at the very moment the hag tries to get in, they will be crushed with a key. And
that sounds so complicated, man.
It is. They gotta be watching through the keyhole, waiting just at the right moment, sticking the key and crush them. Not only that, they after you can try that. If you find their skin that they shed it, you put hot peppers in it, so the hag can burn when they try to get back in it. Really,
wow.
Hot peppers.
Hot peppers.
Hot peppers, a key, a broom. It sounds like some Caribbean at the clue game.
I hate it because they add these. It's like, it's like when you watch a movie and they put so much effort into like the plot, and you're like, oh shit, and then they come up with a stupid ending.
Exactly.
It's like a rushed ending. That's what most of these solutions sound like. It's like, all right. Fuck it, just put a bowl of rice.
Put a bowl of rice. Yeah, let them count it. The thing is, they gotta count it before daylight. So you just put a whole sack of rice. They'll never finish. Just let them. I guess they die in the daylight. I don't know.
Yeah, the daylight kills them apparently. Like vampires.
I'm gonna give you the survival. How to prevent a Jumbie encounter.
Hold up. Before we go there, let's give them another Jumbie.
Okay, cool.
So we have, let's talk about
I have the Moko Jumbee.
Oh,
really?
You looked into that?
You looked into it.
You guys remember the Moko Jumbee? Yes, indeed.
I saw today, as a matter of fact. I looked up and
they actually have a movie.
I got into something else. It was like a lot to read. I was like, fuck it. One of these people do it.
Well, I did my research on Wikipedia. I did my research on Wikipedia and it came out.
It's
and I was like, wait,
it must be true.
Wiki, it must be real.
It must be true. It must be true.
All right.
Upon reading it, it shows that not Jumbies are bad, because it says that the Moko Jumbies are stilt walkers or dancers.
Yes, that I saw.
Yes. And then it says that Moko means healer in Central Africa.
Okay.
And they wear colorful garbs and carnival masks, and it makes me think of over here the Gigantes.
Yes.
Okay.
That I saw.
That's interesting.
When I started looking for Puerto Rico, it kept coming out.
That is a Moko Jumbee.
And
yes.
I was like,
That is a Moko Jumbee.
Okay, now for the people that know only English, Moko over here in Puerto Rico means booger. So it's
Booger.
a booger jumbie.
Booger Jumbee.
Moko is a
Gumby.
healer, right? Moko
Yeah.
is a healer. So
Yes.
that means if I stick my finger in my nose, take out a booger, and wipe it on somebody's, cut or burn or whatever, they will heal.
Yeah.
Probably.
Wow. So for those of you who don't know, also in PR we have something called Vejigantes, and they have like festivals about that, and I mean it all ties back. I'm
Yes.
assuming to like our African descendants, right?
Yes, it looks like the Brazil carnivals
Yeah, so it's like a mass, and then they put like horns and stuff like that all
with
over.
bells and stuff and glitter.
So for those of you who are
Glitter.
watching on YouTube, you will see what I'm talking about. If you're not, then just imagine it. I don't know what to tell you.
It says that they considered a god that watched over the village with its towering height, and it was able to foresee danger and evil since they were so tall.
See, so this
So
was like
basically, it
good
was a
spirit.
protector of the
Yeah.
town.
I was wondering
Yes.
why they were always on stilts over here.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know that.
oh, and as a fun fact, it says that they were non-existent in carnivals until the early '90s, where these two dudes called Moose and Dragon. I don't know.
Moose and Dragon.
Yes, that's what it says. Brought them back. And even though they came from Africa, Trinidad had made it into its own, as well as St. Croix and U.S. Virgin Islands, which means Puerto Rico as well. So basically, it became part of the culture. So there you go. That's a Moko Jumbee for you.
There you
Hey,
go.
That
Gigante.
shit kills me.
The
That
more
shit kills
you
me,
know.
Moko Jumbii.
The more you
Up
know.
with the rainbow like this.
Dun, 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 dun.
So,
Yes.
all right. So another one we have. This one is not so nice. This one is called the Shurail.
Sure.
The Shurail are similar to vampires or banshees and come from East Indian culture. The Jumbee is said to look like a young human woman, except
Excuse me.
their feet. This I found interesting. Their feet are turned backwards. and
That's
facing
creepy.
the wrong way. That's fucking creepy. It says sometimes other body parts are upside down or out of place. The most famous Shurail is said to be the spirit of an evil woman who died during childbirth. Her child survived, and she was stricken with grief and being separated from them. The Shurail scours the land for pregnant women and babies who she cries out at in her grief. The Jumbee is said to have the ability to shapeshift into a beautiful woman in order to lure young men to their deaths. Shurails often lurk in fields or hover around crossroads. So this makes me think of, you know how I'm assuming but most Hispanic countries, cultures, they all have La Llorona, right?
La Llorona, yes.
Yeah, everybody.
But if
has
you
one.
notice,
That's what I thought.
Right? If you notice also in PR, most towns have a Llorona too. Everybody has a different story of a Llorona.
Yes.
Like in my town, they just call her La Mujer Vestida de Blanco, right? Which is the woman dressed in white.
Sounds like a novela.
Yeah, supposedly when you travel from
the whining woman.
the town of Quebradillas to Isabela at night, supposedly there is a woman who lures men, right? But supposedly she gets in your car to the point where people get scared, end up having accidents and die, right? There's also a story, which are many, I've heard tons of these, about the woman that shows up, the man takes care of her, then he goes back the next day, and her parents open the door, and they're like, "Oh, she died a long time ago."
Yeah, I've heard that
Yes.
one.
I think everybody's
so
heard
much.
that story. There's
Yes.
one
The
actually.
prom-
goes-
something with the prom,
yeah,
right?
like there's one I think from the town of Jauco, where it's the same story, but then supposedly he had given her his jean jacket the night before. So when he goes to the house the next day, you know, mom says, "Oh no, that's my daughter you're describing, but she passed away a long time ago." So I guess she tells him where she's buried, and when he goes to the cemetery, his jean jacket is hanging over the tombstone.
Yeah, I've heard that one in many places.
Yeah, there's tons of those.
But that, you know, that they have a video. I saw it on YouTube of that story itself of someone getting in the back. I'm trying to remember exactly who it was from, but I can't recall right now. But I did see the video. It is kind of creepy.
I mean, I can tell you
through your mirror and see
firsthand.
somebody.
Yes. Oh my god, you remember Bloody Mary when he was a kid?
Yes.
I was so fucking scared of that.
Bloody Mary.
You ever tried it?
Nah,
Until
when I was
this
a
date.
kid, like I remember, man. I used to be so afraid of that. Oh,
I did try it. I actually did try it. I grew the balls and did it. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Like that's what I'm saying. I could tell you like firsthand. I went through that crossroad of Quebradillas to Isabela, super dark. I've been through there like late at night, 2 3 in the morning. I've walked from one side to the. I've never seen anything, but people have their stories, right? So I don't know. So all right, let's jump to the next one. This Pigman. What's his name?
Massacooramaan, something like that.
Massacooramaan.
Got so many S's and A's.
The what?
So many S's and A's on that name.
Yeah, Massacooramaan. All right, so this is a large, Bigfoot-like hairy man creature that lives in rivers and waterways. This Jumbie is said to appear from under the water to destroy boats and eat the people within them. People who work in the interior of Guyana often speak of Massacooramaan and are afraid of running into one. The Jumbie is much larger than a normal man and has big, sharp teeth. It is not known whether the Massacooramaan lives underwater or dwells on land, but they appear to be fantastic swimmers either way. They have great strength and are able to pull entire boats underwater. That's all they have on this.
Yeah, well.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, exactly.
Bigfoot, right?
It's Bigfoot.
It's Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
A Yeti, I don't know.
Which I saw.
It looks like a warthog, though.
Yeah.
He has the teeth of the warthog.
Man, bear, pig.
Wasn't there a show? Oh, in Witcher, right? There's a character like that. You guys seen Witcher?
Nope.
Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You guys never seen Witcher?
No.
Come on, you haven't seen.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't watched it.
I haven't seen what?
That you saying that we didn't see it, but yeah, you haven't seen most of the things we've seen.
Yeah, but I watch good shows.
Really?
Yeah,
we watch crap.
What?
I think I can't recall watching it.
Well, I watched so many shit. On your list. It's on Netflix.
That's with Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah, watch Witcher, and then all I can say is you're welcome. It's an amazing freaking show. All right, who wants to talk about Slender Man?
Moongazer.
Yeah,
he's kind of shitty. It's a shitty Jumbie.
I thought
just like this other one.
I thought about the Slender Man until it says that it's very muscular.
Okay.
Even though it has very tall, long legs, and only appears during the full moon. And I don't think Slender Man is muscular, right?
No.
You know what? Okay, I know he didn't. I know David didn't see it. Did you see Mrs. Peregrine and the Peculiar Kids?
Yes, indeed. Mrs. Peregrine.
Did you see the creatures there that they came out? Doesn't it remind you of it?
Yes, I vaguely remember it, but yes, I think I gotta rewatch
David
it.
Didn't see it.
No, I watch good stuff, man. Like good shit.
Do you really?
Yeah, man. He's said to be very muscular. I didn't notice that. Yeah, he's said to be very muscular and have a very light or very dark complexion. What kind of fucking description is that? Either very light or very dark? Okay. So in the other story, Moongazer terrorizes rural villages by standing with one leg on either side of a roadway, staring at the full moon. If anyone tries to pass under the Moongazer, he snaps together, cutting them in half.
Well,
I don't know. That's kind of a corny story.
it is. It was not even worth mentioning.
All right. So the last one we got on our list is the Flying Dutchman.
Flying Dutchman.
He's supposedly he's the worst.
The Dutchman Jumbee. I know, right? And he's like not intimidating. All right. Anybody
No
want to
way.
read it?
No how.
You
Well,
guys
you
got
want
it?
to read it, or I'll read it? I don't know. Whoever.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
All right.
Okay. It says the Dutchman Jumbee is one of the most violent and evil Jumbies of them all. No, he's not. According to the legends, Dutch settlers and visitors to the Caribbean would kill slaves and bury them with their treasures and valuables to act as guardians for the items. As a punishment for these disgraceful acts, when the Dutchmen died, their spirits were brought back to the Caribbean, where they haunt the landscape. Let me scroll this up. It's like you were saying before, there are trees, dubbed Dutchman trees, throughout the Caribbean. It is said that if someone climbs or cuts down one of these trees, the Dutchman Jumbee will come and cause the person to fall and break their neck, or cause them to have other forms of bad luck. See, there we go again with the breaking of the neck.
The Flying
I am the Flying Dutchman.
Dutchman.
Oh, we live in a pineapple under the sea. Oh, really?
Oh my god. So
that's all they have on them.
That is the list of Jumbies that we found. I'm pretty sure. I mean, they do say that there's thousands of them. So if you guys have stories, I mean, those of you listening on the podcast, drop us a review. Follow us, please. But also, if you want to send us your story, maybe, I don't know, you grew up with a different type of Jumbie, we would love to hear about it. You can leave us in the comment in YouTube, or just send us a DM on Instagram. You can find us at the Grim Freaks Podcast.
Yeah,
Moko Jumbii.
you left out the survival kit.
Oh, that's what we're going to go to now. We're not done. So now it says, how to prevent. This is where you make your money right here, people. How to prevent a Jumbie encounter. All right. So the first one we already read, right? Which is leave a pile of rice outside from the front door. Jumbies are a bit neurotic and must stop to count the individual grains before the sun rises.
OCD.
There's like OCD. There's a little Rain Man in there.
82, 82, 82. Plus 246 total change.
They got to count. Huh?
The Rain Man.
Yeah, like they have to
Good
count.
analogy.
So we got, let's see. Cross water. Jumbies are not fond of water and may give up chasing you if you cross a river or stream. I mean, so
wait till you get to the last one.
All right. So if you are being chased by a Jumbie late at night, walk backwards. If you are walking backwards, the Jumbie is less likely to follow you inside your home.
You think I'm gonna remember that? You think I'm gonna
run your ass?
Dude, I mean, think about it. You're shitting bricks. You think you're gonna be like, oh wait, walk back. Who the fuck is gonna do that? All right, so again, this is where the Rain Man comes in. If you leave a rope with many knots outside your home, the Jumbie will stop and try to untie all the knots and be occupied until the sun rises, when it must hide again.
Again, the OCD will get the better of them.
Yeah. Then, okay, the last one here is leave a pair of shoes outside the house. Jumbies don't have feet, and they'll try all night to put the shoes on. Oh my God. See, this is what I'm telling you. This is like when you put all the effort into creating the story, and then it's like a stupid ending. It's like, hey, what if we put shoes? You know, they got no feet. All right. So that has been the list of evil spirits from the Caribbean. Before we leave, though, we still got time, right? Let me see.
Yeah.
Moko Jumbii.
We still got
Moko
time.
Jumbii. Booger Jumbee.
Booger Jumbie.
I wanted to. We just want to send our condolences to the family of Peter Straub, right? He was a horror author and a collaborator with Stephen King. He died yesterday at the age of 79. He is the acclaimed author of horror and supernatural fictional novels such as Julia, Ghost Story, and The Talisman. The Talisman sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. It does sound familiar.
This is the latter which he wrote with his close friend Stephen King. He died on Sunday in New York at the age of 79. Yeah, so our condolences.
Our condolences to his family.
So, yeah, that just came out in the news. Yes, I was like, you know what, this is around our theme, so we might as well just mention it. Halloween dropping, what is it, 14? 12?
Yeah.
I think it's the
12.
Yeah, the 12th.
The 12th. I'm
Not
just
sure.
excited it's coming out on Peacock. I can watch it for free.
Peacock.
Peacock.
That's why I'm excited. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, where is it going to stream? It says that they're going to stream it on Peacock.
But come on, it's the last one. I mean, you gotta
I
go
just
to
hope
the
they don't
theater.
hype it up too much.
Well, that's why I'm saying I feel kind of excited to watch it because I feel like they haven't hyped it up much.
Yeah.
And to me, right, this is me, just October 14th. That's when it comes out.
Okay.
My personal opinion, right? Usually when they don't hype up a movie like that, it's usually because they know they have a good product. Movies that I've seen that they hype up like months before, they're already giving you previews and trailers and they're trying to create all this commotion. Usually when it comes out, it's trash.
Yep.
So that's what I'm judging by. And
I
we're
just
not going to
hope
ruin
it's
it for
way
people,
better.
but according to the story that Charles told us, that made me want to watch it more.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I really like
caught
that
our eye.
story.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
no
because after
spoilers.
all these parts with the little niece, I think it is.
yeah, that was like part 4, part 5.
Yes.
Part 3 was like horrible.
That's Danielle Harris.
So, okay, so
Exactly.
speaking of Halloween, I need to confess something here. I know, right? I am a fan of Michael Myers Halloween movies, right? Like
Yes,
I
we
said
all are.
earlier, I'm a fan of John Carpenter's version, part 1, part 2. And then part 3, I feel like that's my guilty pleasure movie. I fucking like that movie. And I know it's deemed to be the stupidest Halloween movie ever. But
Did
I like
did you just like that movie?
I
Really?
do. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's
Is it the music?
nostalgia. I don't know.
Halloween,
But to be honest, I watch that movie every year. Every year for Halloween, I watch that movie. I usually try to watch part 1, 2, and 3. But if I don't watch part 1 and 2, I will watch part 3.
The only thing I liked
terrible
about that
because it's a
movie was
terrible
the
movie.
gory part. The part where she starts working with the chip
Yeah.
and it just blasting her. I think it was a dude or exactly. Halloween.
Like, I don't know.
Whatever.
I fucking
I
like
literally
that movie.
had that poster from the magazine Fangoria.
I remember.
I had
that.
it up on my wall.
I
Wow,
remember
that's
that.
way back.
They have
That'd be
Easter
old.
eggs of that movie on Halloween Kills.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
I read.
wait,
I
the
didn't
one.
notice.
So the one
I read that one.
before. What was
I
the
didn't
other one?
notice.
The last one that came out. What was that?
Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they do. The masks come
do.
out.
And
the
they,
kids
I
have
think
masks.
on one scene, the radio tower, I believe they show it.
Yes.
That
I
that's
did
an
notice.
Easter egg.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, when I saw Halloween Kills, I mean the masks look better now, but they have like the witch mask and the skull mask. And there's a part where the kids are like in a playground, and they have the mask on.
Oh yes. I remember.
And
Yeah.
I think Michael ends up. I think he kills like all the kids there or some shit.
I don't know.
So
They do. They
the
don't show
theory
it.
is that those people were the ones that designed Michael's mask.
Ah.
I don't know.
Dun,
That's
dun.
people speculating. Bum, bum,
Bum,
bum.
bum, bum. I don't know.
Oh, fun fact.
What else?
I tried
We'll
watching.
see.
Tried watching Phantasm this week. I couldn't finish it.
The only thing I like is the sphere. The way it looks is awesome.
I couldn't finish, and I'm trying. I'm trying to go back and watch like all these movies. I remember as a kid used to scare the fuck out of me, and I'm trying to
The
go
old
back.
dude?
Huh?
That old dude that comes out there, he looks kind of creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna finish them because I do want to watch. There's like 3 parts, right?
Yeah.
I do want to
Yes.
finish them, but wow, the acting is bad. I mean, of course, I know you can't put yourself, looking at it, comparing it to movies now, like the whole editing, the way it's like so, and then the camera cuts, and the camera's over here.
Yeah, that's like the movie I did with you guys. Remember?
Yeah, it's
Back
like if
when?
they had one camera. That's it.
One camera.
But yeah, I don't know. I tried watching. I was like,
Did you see the one you recommended, Charles?
Which one?
that
Oh no, the
Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
No. I think it was on Shudder. Where did you find it actually?
Well, I saw it on cinema.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually sat through it, and that's an hour and a half I'm not gonna get back with my life. Really?
what movie did I see?
Horrible
Oh, I was
acting.
Well, it's an
Overacting.
80s movie. What do you expect?
Yeah, well, no, it's hard to explain. The killer itself overacted her part in dying. Oh my god, it was
It's an
horrible.
80s movie.
It's an 80s. No, it
Listen,
looked more
don't
like
sleep
a
on the 80s
70s.
movie because Portuguese is an 80s movie, and that movie
And it was
still. I was
great.
watching
Yes.
it today, and the effects are still like on. They still hold up.
Yeah.
Like it's a.
Have you guys seen Hatchet
Hatchet.
No,
with Victor Crowley?
no, I haven't.
It's hard to remember.
I
We
did
have an
start
assignment,
watching
boys.
the what?
We have an assignment.
The Hatchet.
Text it to
Yes.
me so I can
The
remember.
Hatchet. Yes.
I gotta check that out.
Send me the text so I can remember.
I know
I got a bunch
Will
of shit
do.
I gotta see.
I did start watching American Horror Stories.
Season 1 was garbage. I'm
I'm
sorry.
on season 1. I think I'm on episode the one after Christmas. That was so
Danny
stupid.
Trejo.
Oh my god, it was so
Danny
horrible.
Trejo.
But fun
Oh my.
fact, I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Danny Trejo, aka Raul Martinez.
Machete.
AKA Machete.
Remember you said his picture
Yeah.
looked like the machete?
But in that show, in episode, I think it's 3. Episode 3 is about a movie that makes everybody crazy.
Oh,
and kill
yes.
people. For those of you who watch horror movies, the lady that works in the drive-in, she's in one of the cult classics of horror from the 80s. She's from I don't know her name.
What movie then?
She's from the movie Creepshow.
Wow.
I fucking love. That's another guilty. I love that movie. Every year I see Creepshow.
Which one?
Creepshow
1 and 2?
One and 2. Every year I watch it. Every year. Super
I've seen it. I
corny,
just
super
don't remember.
I just love it. Well, anyway, but she's the lady that she's like the nagging wife in the part where they have the Tasmanian devil in the box under the stairs.
I'm trying to like put that image in my head, but I
So
can't.
She comes out in American Horror Stories. She also comes out, I think, in Shudder. They're doing a remake of Creepshow, right? The show, right? I don't know if you guys have seen that either.
I've seen the show.
Oh my
They're
God.
not the remake. I don't know.
Not
if
the
it's out
remake.
yet.
So Shudder, they started doing Creepshow, but they turned it into a series. And they have new stories there. Oh my God. See, talk about me, man. But yeah, Shudder.
Well,
All right. So anyway, so next week we have we're gonna go back to some true crime. we have a couple of cases lined up. We just got to choose which one we want to talk about. Yeah. And for those of you, again, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram and on YouTube. Just look for the Grim Fix Podcast. Send us a request if there's something you want us to talk about. Stories. You have your own story. You want us to read your story. You have a spooky story, a scary story, a paranormal story you want us to read. Send it to us. Send us a DM on Instagram.
Yes.
Send us a private message on Facebook, or just leave it in the comments below on YouTube, or podcast. You can just drop a review and say how awesome we are.
How awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So this has been the
We're
Grim
awesome.
Fix Podcast. Till the next episode, my people. Stay safe.
Yep.
Take care, guys.